I'm Mensah Bey, and we're here at Access and Extension, my exhibition at Norfolk's Offsite Gallery here at MacArthur Center, Suite 287. This artwork was inspired by a residency that I did in Cuba with Rooster GNN. It's a media company based in Spain, and they offer residencies and internships to artists and students. In this exhibit, we have artworks that are inspired by some of the relationships that I built while I was in Cuba during my residency, and some of the places that I was looking to learn more about. And so in the main piece that you see back here is about the Wi-Fi, one of the Wi-Fi areas, hotspots where people have access to the internet. And a lot of my inspiration was based on my curiosity of how people in Cuba use the internet when they did get access to it versus how we would use it in maybe more first world societies where we have kind of unlimited access to it. And what I seemed to find was people were more interested in kind of rebuilding connections of lost friends or family that have, for generations been gone from Cuba, and they're sending things back. So people use those spaces as kind of a hub to gain information, talk to family, and reconnect. Some of the pieces where I was looking to be curious of how people use social media for those who had access to it or those who might have gotten. I was curious of how they used it versus how people in the U.S. might use it as like a space to kind of share themselves more than anything. One of the biggest barriers were language, trying to communicate my concept and ideas where I wanted people to kind of hold my phone, take photos, take selfies, and use those as references for the artworks I would create. One of the people I met, Samuel, I was able to get him to understand what I was going for because he had a really horrible English language. So we actually talked a lot about music, art. He was a musician himself, going to the local university. And so I learned a lot about Cuba through him and his experiences. But what I realized through him and the other people I met on my first day was that it would be more about the relationships that I built with people while there versus their own views of themselves. Because they weren't using access. Some of the people I met didn't even have smartphones. They were still using flip phones. And so their understanding or concept, it seemed, of the use of social media was so different from what I was expecting. And so it kind of shifted my goals and my plans during my residency. And so this collection of work kind of encapsulates some of those relationships, some of the stories, some of the dreams and wishes that some of the people expressed when I got to talk to them and communicate with them. Just the spaces that they were in versus spaces that they could have, might have wished they were in. Some of them living in squalor and really kind of tiny apartments with multiple families in them, but looking at how some of the larger buildings and dwellings they just had zero access to. And so the show, Access and Extension, is about people's access to material and everyday needs, and then reaching out an extension of help and need, where sometimes finance isn't the best thing for them, where sometimes it's bringing an object or bringing some materials that they could better use, or put to better use. And so it's a lot to take in. It's really a unique, I think, aspect or take on the experience of being a tourist in Cuba. Hopefully you all like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mensah.